Can you hear us now? Superb, thank you very much. So, we're Complete Works, or two of Complete Works. All the people in pink t-shirts you'll see today, there are some of our staff. Say hello, Esther. Woo! We've also got some people over there. We're delighted to be here at the Museum and Heritage Show. A wonderful time for the industry to come together. So please do chat to us, chat to each other, talk to people. You know, these things can be very exciting, but they can also be a little bit nerve-wracking. So if you see somebody hanging by themselves, go chat to them. We work with lots of places. We work with an awful lot of places. This is a small selection of some of the places we work at. We're telling you that because we're going to talk about some things that we do. We want this to be more of a training session than a pitch. I'm not interested in pitching, although if you want to work with us, come and chat to us. But this is a training session on the work we do, the effect it has, and some really quick wins that you can have on site. We offer 4 things really quickly. I'll tell you about them. We do staffing. All of our staff are freelance actors. They are not in costume, they are in uniform. And they're using their communication skills for the sites they work at. And that can be selling something, that can be telling a story, that can be promoting something. But their passion for the arts and their communication skills fuel that marriage. We do training sessions, a bit like today. Woohoo! We can come and do some consultancy for you, and we put on experiences. That's a small show at your attraction. More of that stuff, you can look at our website, come and chat to us. But like I say, I want to charge on with some learnings.
So why are we here? Hi guys, my name is Elise, by the way. I am the Scottish version of George down here. Can you hear me okay? I just saw a lot of people go, oh, so sorry if I was a bit loud. Why are we here? Why is this not a pitch? This is a training session for free because we care. We really care about this industry. George and I have both been in it for decades, showing our age. And we know that over the past 20 or so years, it's got harder to do this stuff that we do. Funding has never been more squeezed. The cost of living means that our guests have never been more savvy with how they spend their time and their money. And all of the costs of doing business have got higher. Oh, that's a bit depressing as a start. Shit, where do we go from here? Don't worry, because the answer is actually already in your attraction. We know that you're doing amazing things really well. Let's just reframe how we think about some of them to put the opportunity back in your hands. And to do that, we need to put visitors at the heart of what it is that we do. Because without them, we're nothing, are we? And if we think about what visitors want when they come to see us, we can divide it into 2 categories. They want restoration. The world is hard. I've been watching the news, and I want to do something different with my leisure time. I want to feel restored. Or I want to be inspired. I've been studying this. I've been talking to someone about it. I want to learn more. I want to fill my cup in a different way. And if you can provide something amazingly inspirational or something amazingly restorative, or even better, a little bit of both, you've come up with that perfect escapism. The thing that is going to make your visitor attraction, the story you tell, worth time and money for people. So make every interaction count. Obviously, we get the facts right. We don't want to make stuff up as we embellish or craft these beautiful stories that we tell. Keep it real. Keep it authentic, because we all have brilliant, real, authentic stories to tell. Make it memorable. And how do you make something memorable? You surprise people by swearing at the start, and it's not even 11 a.m. Or you connect with them, you make them laugh, you make them feel, you make them part of whatever it is you're talking about. Bring joy, even in the most depressing start of a conversation. The power is still in our hands. And we can talk about any subject, no matter how difficult it is on site, with a joyful, honest, and positive view of where it's going next. And the last one. George wrote commercial, but I would like to change that to money is not a dirty word.
That's better.
Because all of this amazing funding that we receive, which starts us off, which gets us in the places that we're already at, is because we've had the money to do it. But if we can rejig the way our thinking works, we can help people connect with us, hear our authentic stories, enjoy our amazing experiences, fall in love with what we do, then they'll want to support us back. And that kind of commercial freedom is invaluable, because all of a sudden the money that you can create through the people who walk in your door because they love you, what you do, the stories you tell and how you tell them, that's freedom for you to make the best choices for your visitor attraction, your experience, your museum, your gallery, your cathedral, whatever it is, going forward.
But how do you do it? That's really tricky, and that is a monster question, because we know all of that. We love what we do. We're passionate about our sector, but how do we deliver those joyful commercial experiences that help us grow, help us build on and move forward when our staff are tired? Our staff are under commercial pressures and they don't like commercialism. How do we teach somebody who doesn't love commercialism to sell? How do we tell our stories in a way that we can be proud of when our history is so complex? How do we do that? Well, there's some easy wins that we want to share with you. This is a guideline for commerciality. Are you doing this one?
Yeah.
Off you go.
That's cool. So the first thing is care about what you do and show the people walking in your door that you care. I sometimes call this feel the love. Have you ever walked by a park bench and the trash, the litter bin was full, and then you see that people keep piling it on top, and then all of a sudden it's tucked between the slats of the park bench, and then the whole place is just a mess, right? It's because the first person didn't show care, and then everyone else kind of got on board. But the opposite is also true. If you can show you love and care for something, people will get on board. A great example of that is the Royal Botanic Gardens up in Edinburgh, which is where we've had a team since 2020. Storm Eowyn came through and it knocked down some of the brilliant trees that were up there, including the oldest and tallest tree, which was such a shame. It also drove the most successful fundraising day in about the last 3 years, because people saw the damage and they saw the care that was going into taking this dangerous area away from the visitors so that it was safe to reuse, but the care that was taken for the environment, for the seed pods that were still on that tree, for the other areas around that fallen tree. And people felt the love, felt the care, and wanted to be part of that journey with them. So even if something bad has happened, show that you care about the way you're restoring that space to whatever is visitor perfection for you. Connect with people, meet them on their level. Some of the places we work with have these stunning brands that are really premium, and their biggest challenge is actually connecting and saying that you're welcome. Every person is welcome. I was at the V&A Dundee last week, and up there they call themselves the living room for the city. Isn't that the best way of connecting with your local community? It says, I don't mind if you like design, if you love art, if you're here for the stunning architecture, or if you just want a coffee in a really nice, warm space surrounded by beautiful things. Connect with people and meet them on their level and welcome them in. We also want to be flexible and give the right product for the right visitor. And especially if we're talking commercially, that might mean that you rethink some of your commercial products. Maybe there's a commercial product that you've been selling, a membership, for example, but that's not the right product for an international visitor. They want something that is going to work for them for their 10-day holiday or their 3-day holiday that's better than a day ticket. And some of the people we're working with are actively creating this space in the middle. There's something between one day and every day, because that's where people live. And if we can provide a product that's right for them, why wouldn't they want to jump on board with it? And lastly, if you've done that, if you've shown that you care, people can see and feel the love that you have for what you do. If you've connected with them and met them on their level, and you have the right product for that guest, please tell them it exists. Yeah? That is the number one piece of learning in all of the places that we sell memberships and we promote friends of, supporters of, patrons of, legacy gifting, donations and memberships. Tell them that the best way to support you back is through this. Because a lot of people might not know about it. And even if it's not right for them today, it might be right for them next week or next year, or for somebody that they know to gift it to. So don't be afraid to ask, because in asking, in telling, you are giving the gift of knowledge to the person who's in front of you. And if they love you, they'll want to support you the best way possible.
Marvelous. So how do we connect with people? Such an important part of that puzzle is connecting. And it's important to realize that there is no science to this. Every human is beautifully individual, and that's exciting. And that means that it can go in so many different directions. It's a complex art. But connecting with people is vital for your story and the commercial success of where you work. I think Maya Angelou, the formidable powerhouse, the beauty, Maya Angelou said it best when she said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." As your guests walk into where you work, how do you make them feel? The architecture of where you work may be intimidating. There may be pillars, it may be towering, or it might be a vast vista, a castle. But it's the people that will create the connection, which means that your people are controlling how your guests feel. We must care for those people who work in the organizations. Because look at this, Edgar Dale, very intelligent stuff this, very exciting. The low stuff, 10% of what we read, we will remember. 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see. This is where we start getting into that experience model. We experience things at this stage. When we are confident enough to teach others, we'll remember 95% of that. Think about it for a second. When you convert a guest into an ambassador, that is how membership flies. When somebody leaves your beautiful establishment, goes home and tells their mate, we've just connected on LinkedIn, hi Dominic, they tell their mate about the site you're visiting. That person wants to support. It starts to matter to them. It's around here that it starts becoming a cause for them. And it'll stop being a one-off, yes, I'll buy my ticket, yes, I'll donate, yes, I'll upgrade. No, I want to be a member, I want to be a part of it, and I want to help it grow. So all of that incredibly important commercial function, the biggest factor in it, in our opinion, is the people. And that is such a beautiful thing, because people are awesome. I know the news is scary, but people rock. Trust us.
So, thanks for all the nodding along so far. I feel like we've got you. Let's just give you something that is a real tool now. Less abstract, actual tool. Go away and use it today. As people walk in the front door, how often does the conversation go like this? Welcome. Where have you traveled from today? Welcome. What a beautiful day it is outside. Yeah? Yeah, right? Because it's so easy just to chat about the weather. It's very British of us. It's very, very easy. But is chatting about whether or not it's a sunny day going to drive a deeper connection? No. So what we have for you here are the 6 essential stories. And they don't need to be War and Peace or the Great Expectations. These are 6 stories you should have in your back pocket. Train your teams to know them, to live and breathe them. And any moment the opportunity arises to have a connection with a guest, don't talk about the weather. Talk about something more important, something that will drive a deeper connection with you, your brand, your experience, your philosophy. So let's quickly rattle through them. Number 1, thanks to Walt Disney. How did it start? What is your origin story? Why do you exist? And Walt Disney's is a really powerful example, because for him, it all started with a mouse. And if I told you that, that's quite a hook. You might want to ask me some more questions. But also, if I told you the start of one of the biggest media empires in the world was with a doodled mouse on a pub napkin, well, that's quite a humble origin story, isn't it? I can recall sitting in the pub with friends and doodling grand dreams on pub napkins. I can connect with that story. I can feel like I'm part of that journey. What is your origin? And if someone says, hey, this place is great, oh my gosh, let me tell you how it started. That's a great story. Number 2, success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. And why do we mention this? Because we work in one of the most brilliant industries in the world. I have genuinely walked into a business meeting and someone said, hi, would you like to walk on the roof of the cathedral before we start? Yes, please. Our day-to-day is somebody else's once-in-a-lifetime dream maker moment. And we kind of got to take a pause for a minute and realize that, because people are desperate to do the things that we call everyday work. So how do you keep it fresh? How do you acknowledge that you, and I did this Saturday just a few weeks ago, I stood at the front of St. Giles Cathedral in the Royal Mile in Edinburgh, said, welcome to St. Giles, 4,000 times. I know, we had a counter. 4,000 times. How did I keep that warm, positive, upbeat, genuine welcome on the 4,000th time I had to say it? Well, for me, I would glance behind me at the stunning building, and I would let my eyes rove for a quarter of a second and find something incredible. And every time I looked up, I would see something different, a different bit of stained glass, a different bit of carving, a different view of the sky. And that kept it fresh. But what's your story of how you keep it fresh? It's also your story of how are you grateful for this amazing opportunity that you have to work in such a stunning place. Rattling on, what's your vision? If people love you right now, as Eleanor Roosevelt says, they might love you tomorrow. They want to get on board with where you're going and what you're doing next. So tell them what your vision is. The Dundregan Rewilding Centre has a 200-year vision. That's incredible. None of them are going to be around to see 200 years, but their vision still lasts that long, which is a brilliant explanation. And in one sentence, they've got me talking about it to hundreds of you down here in London. What are your values? What are the pillars that support the work that you do? Do you talk about sustainability without greenwashing it because you actually do impactful stuff? Are you a learning organization that constantly seeks feedback from the people walking in your door so that you can actively change and improve? And do you tell the people walking in that those are the things that make you who you are and how special you are? Speaking of the people walking in, who are your customers? That brilliant quote from Maya Angelou. Who are the people that you seek out because you do something that's impactful for them? How do you welcome them in? Can you tell a story to one of the guests that's just walked in that says, people just like you visit this place every day of the year and they love it because... And finally, who are your team? Because as George said, it's all about the people, isn't it? And your team might be some wonderful students who've got work outside of their studies, but they're also incredible, ambitious, diverse, passionate people who are willing to work in this industry usually because they love something about it. What's the story of who makes you, you, and how do you communicate that to your guests? Because I guarantee if you have that conversation instead of, yes, it's very sunny and warm, isn't it? You will find people building a better connection with you and wanting to know more, having a deeper engagement and therefore wanting to help, which is the next bit.
Superb. We've got 11 minutes and another 12 slides. Let's jam on. So how do we do that? So those stories are wonderful, but how do we actually teach people to say them? Because words are a small part of the work. This comes from Professor Albert Mehrabian's study. It's very famous. 55% of the emotional responsive communication comes from body language, 38% comes from tone of voice, and a tiny 7% comes from the words we use. But what does that mean? Whether you believe that or not, let's just tuck into it quickly. For me, it's about intention. So when you say the word welcome, do you mean it? Do your team mean it? Or when they say welcome, do they mean I'm in desperate need of a break? I really want my salary to be higher. I'm in a career cul-de-sac. Because all of those things can be said with the word welcome, bizarrely. Like, think about it. You call up British Gas. If anyone works at British Gas, I am sorry. Hello, my name is George. Thank you for calling British Gas today. How can I help you? That person doesn't actually want to help you. You can hear it in their tone of voice. So when people are entering your businesses, what do the voices sound like that we hear? Are they the voices of people that are engaged? We need to be able to, as leaders, we need to be able to hear what our teams sound like and address it if it don't sound right. But there's no right and wrong here as well, because all humans are different, and that's beautiful. And, you know, some people might, the whole introvert-extrovert thing is incredibly exciting, whether that's what you believe in or not. It's about intention. I don't buy into one style too much, because it's about if you mean the words. And the tiny, tiny differences that help that come out. Whether you mean the words you're saying, your body and your tone of voice will speak that. And listen.
That's it. Just listen to them. Right? So many conversations don't start the way you expect, because somebody will come up to you despite the fact you're in a full uniform with a lanyard and a name badge and say, "Excuse me, do you work here?" And they're not asking, "Do you work here?" They're asking, "Can you help me?" Right? And active listening is getting past that first beat where you might jump in and think, "Oh, they're just a bit foolish, aren't they? I'm wearing a name badge, obviously I work here. I've made an assumption about them," when actually they were asking for help. And maybe my assumption shouldn't have existed yet, because I need to listen all the way through to what they're going to say. Listen with all 10 of your ears.
All 10 of your ears. Perfect. So communication styles. We really want to quickly talk about that. Everybody's got a unique communication style. And this isn't anything to do with your personality. We are not qualified to talk about your personality. But how you communicate. Are you communicating with people who just communicate in a way that you like to communicate? Or are you communicating with people who communicate in other ways? At Complete Works, we've distilled these down into kind of some archetypal figures to allow people to identify certain habits, to be able to flex and change. And that's hard, because change is hard.